What's going on YouTube? This is Dark Lord Destro making another video. I would like to apologize to you all for not necessarily missing it, but back on July 16th, All Pro Football 2K became 10 years old. Now I knew about it. I had a picture posted on my Facebook page. However, I didn't get around to making a YouTube video, so now I'm doing it now. So I guess happy belated anniversary to All Pro Football 2K8. Back in July 16th, it became 10 years old. That's right. We've been playing this game since July 16th, 2007. I like to say, majority of us are the diehard, 2K fans, football fans. We played this game since 2007. And so I would like to just talk a little bit about my experience with 2K8 from the very beginning. I hope I don't miss anything. I know I've said some things in previous videos when I first started this channel 5-6 years ago, and also spoke on Dollar Jr.'s thing. He had made a quick video documentary. He quoted me. And so basically I just want to start from the very beginning on my experiences with 2K8. I just want to say first and foremost that it was 2K8 that inspired me to make YouTube videos and also stream games. I had no interest in having a YouTube channel. I had no interest in streaming games at all whatsoever. Corky, San Antonio Corky, you can check out his channel at The Walking Greg. And he the one who mailed me a game capture device around this time 3 years ago. Now, I recently upgraded back in January. I got a hodgepodge because the rock shows just started acting a fool. It was a hit and miss. It worked sometimes it didn't. I would let it sit for a while, and then it'll work for a while, then it'll stop, then I let it sit for like 3 weeks or whatever, and then work again. Finally got fed up with it, so I got a hodgepodge around Christmas time, and it works great for me. However, back to what I was saying from the very beginning, I remember when they was talking about the game, and this is months before, they was talking about, we're going to bring 2K football back. Unfortunately, we're not going to have any NFL teams, the official NFL teams. However, we're going to sign legend players, and we're going to have them on our in the game. Okay. Now, in case some people don't know, Chuck Foreman, who played for Minnesota Vikings, he's born and raised in Frederick, Maryland. He went to Frederick High in Frederick, Maryland. He graduated, I want to say, in 68, 69. Then he went to play for University of Miami, and he graduated in 73. So his rookie year for the Minnesota Vikings was 73. And I'm a distant relative of his through marriage. And so that was unique to have someone from your hometown, someone that you know personally in the game. And so, beside all that, we knew that the legends were coming out. That was going to be in the game. And so I was like, okay, all right. So then, I'll never forget, I made a reservation at a place called, now it's gone. It's called Game Crazy, I think it was called. Hollywood Video had a little store inside their video store. It was called Game Crazy. And at that time, I bought a Xbox 360, I'll say around September or October of 2006. And the first games I purchased with that system was NBA 2K7 and Phantasy Star Universe, or whatever the Phantasy Star game was at that time. And the only reason why I bought the basketball, because I'm not into basketball games, but I figured, well, if I can't play a 2K football, I'll play a 2K basketball. So you fast forward to, like, say, spring of 2007, they're talking about this game, I'm watching interviews and stuff. And the game comes out. Now, I recognize a lot of the guys, some guys I didn't recognize. And so I'm picking Randall Cunningham, Chuck Foreman. Of course, the very first player I picked was OJ. I had to give some shout out to OJ. He's on his way out in parole. Good stuff. I don't want to get involved I don't want to get into OJ. I'll talk about him in another video probably. So, however, he was my first player I picked. I saw Okoye. I was messing around and stuff, and I designed my teams. They were called the Richmond Red Dogs or something like that. To this day, I still have the uniforms for that team. Many Xboxes later, I still have my original, very first uniform team that I created. So I was going through the thing there, picking my guys, and I was under the impression that, because they said that there was be some, no-name players at the time. I think they were called no-name players. And I thought, okay, well, you're able to pick 11 on offense, 11 on defense, and you'll be great. You'll be straight. Then I picked like 10 offensive guys. I never forget, the only defensive guy I picked was Lombardi. And I was like, hold on, man, where's the other 11 spots? I'm supposed to pick 11 other guys. I was like, oh, snap. Then after a few minutes, I'm like, okay, it's 11 overall, not 11 total. And I'm thinking, okay, that's kind of whack, but whatever. So of course, I didn't play a practice game. I did what most people did. You figure you was decent at 2K5, your skills would translate over to 2K8, right? So you go online, and I was playing against guys, and I had 10 guys on offense and one guy on defense. I was Lim Barney, silver cornerback. I won like the first 5, 6 games in a row. And then after a while, I was I was scrapping here and there, and I was getting punished a couple times. So then after like that first day, I went to work. The next day, came home, and I was like, you know what? Let me start looking into this stuff. Let's balance this out a little bit. And it was great. You're mixing your own players and this and that, and and the whole time I kept saying to myself, man, if only there was a way that you can be able to add more players to your team. Not because you want to just whip people's ass. You just want to you don't want to see Steve Blakely or Jeff Blake. I mean, not Jeff Blake, Mark Blake. You don't want to see these no-name jabronis on the field. You want to see real guys. And if they don't make the real guys, at least give us the tools to create real guys so we can, imitate the NFL as best as we can. So then I'll never forget, it was around, I got divorced. I actually got separated around, September, October 2010. Had to go back to my mama's house and whatnot. And so it was around like end of November, early December 2010. And some dude, I think Brozells, can't remember, some young guy, I can't remember, he was talking about it. He's able to give, bronze guys more than one ability and this and that. I never forget, because back then, if you recall, if you was playing back then, when the servers was up, you was able to go to any user, any player who was online. You can go and look at their most recent team they had on their roster file. And I went on that guy's roster file, and I saw he had bronze guy with 4 or 5 abilities. He had silver guy with 4 or 5 abilities and stuff. It was like, wow, like how did he pull that off? Then I remember I was trying to get some information. This one guy, I won't mention his name, little jabroni, little clown. Of course, they're a Patriots fan. They're natural clowns anyway, jabronis, bitch-made punks. Anyhow, he was like half-assing it. He was just like telling me stuff, and he wasn't really trying to show me. And, me, being a restaurant manager, I know when people are BSing you. So I was like, man, forget that. So then the Operation Sports put out the information on how to do it. And so then I was learning it, doing it by the hex editor, learning it, studying it. To this day, I had it all memorized. I can go in there now, and without editors, I can still go into the hex editor workshop and do it that way if I need to. I can, that's the skills I have. It's embedded in my head so much. Spent hours upon hours doing it that it's like riding a bike to me. So then I think it was early 2011, they want to say February, March, I think Flying Fins editor came out, and it was easier. But then guys were abusing it. I mentioned it in my video called Absolute Power Corrupts Absolutely. I mentioned how people were just abusing it. They didn't know what to do. They couldn't hex accordingly. And so, and the whole time I'm still thinking, okay, we can use this to make my reality come true, is add more guys on the team. So then, but guys weren't doing that. And, the game only allowed you to create 20 guys, and you're still limited. And I kept staring at it one night. I was at my brother's house. Keep in mind that I didn't have a computer. My brother did. So I go to his house. My nephew had the Xbox. So they're asleep. I'm up late at night at his house. And so I'm thinking to myself, I kept staring at the screen. I kept saying, what can I do to add more players? Okay, so this is what I started to do. Alrighty, I was designing the 2010 or 2011 or 2012 Redskins. I can't remember right at the moment. I think it was 2012 Redskins and or 2011. I can't remember. Anyhow, regardless of all that, I'll never get an idea popped in my head. I'll say, look, I look at the Redskins offensive line. I see their last names. I see guys in the game, generic guys in the game that got the same last name with different first names. And you figure, who gives a damn about the first names of a lineman? As long as you see his jersey number, I mean his jersey name on the back of the jersey, that's what matters, his last name. So I said, okay, well, how about this idea? Since we can change tiers of the legends and turn them into generics and we can slot them on a team, how about if I go into Flying Fins editor or even the Hacks editor and I can go in and change a generics tier. So I can change this guy to a gold, silver, and bronze. What will happen? So I did that to a few generics randomly. I saved it, went back to the Xbox, and boom, the majority of the guys the generics that I changed into stars showed up on the same list as if you was just selecting a legend player. It's okay. So I never forget, quarterback Ray Montgomery, I changed him into a center because the Redskins had a center. I can't remember his Will Montgomery. I think he was a center or a tight end, or I'm sorry, center or a lineman. I changed Ray Montgomery into Will Montgomery. I couldn't change the first name because remember, at that time, you couldn't alter the guy's first and last name because it wouldn't work online. Your game will freeze or the guy's name will scramble. So I said, okay, if I leave the first and last name alone, but if I change his height, weight, jersey number, skin complexion, equipment, etc. I changed everything except for his first and last name. Let's see if it worked. So what I did was, not only did I have my creative guys, I was reprogramming generic guys, and in some cases, legend guys. And then I do it through the same steps, and then I will see if they worked first before I change the equipment. I just want to see if I go into Hex Editor, because remember, in Flying Fins Editor, it didn't allow you to change the position. It gave you the option, but it didn't work. However, if you went into the Hex Editor, the Hex Workshop Editor, with all the letters and numbers looking like the Matrix and stuff, you can change the position of a guy. And so once I had him on my team, I took him back to the Hex Workshop, changed the position. I did it with 3 or 4, 6 other guys. I went into the game and boom, they're on my team and they're different positions. So I said, okay, so now let me go in there in the numbers, change their height, weight, skin color, complexion, whatever, the equipment, jersey number, what have you, and then change their numbers around to where now Ray Montgomery does not have cornerback numbers because he's now a lineman. Let's change his numbers to reflect the lineman. Once I did that, bam, that's how I was able to, that's when guys I go online, dudes were like, how are you able to get all these guys? You get 20 guys and more guys who filled the Redskins to make 2012 Redskins. I said, this was the method that I did. I was waiting for someone else to do this, by the way. I was sitting there waiting. I said, man, someone's got more time on their hands. Someone's got to come up with this. But I was like, finally said, man, the hell with it. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to get into this thing. I'm going to find out for myself and find out how to do it. This was my loophole, my way of doing it. So that's why if you go through my website now, and if you see like teams, you can tell some of the teams earlier on, like I remember the 2000, one of the Saints teams I made had a guy, I can't remember his first name, his last name was Graham. I think his name was Shane Graham, the kicker. All I did was reprogram Otto Graham, the legend gold quarterback. All I did was change his numbers around, height, weight, equipment, jersey number, made his stats reflect the kicker, and then put him on my team, turn to a generic, bam, he's a kicker. So what, his first name is still Otto, who gives a damn? As long as you see Graham on his jersey, I changed the stats around to reflect his new position. Boom. That was my loophole of figuring it out. Then, of course, I remember hooking up with World E 41968. I want to give a shout out to him. Hooked up with Coach P 419, both those brothers from Toledo, Ohio. and they were telling me about the play action motion. I think they got it from Jay Knight, if I recall. And I have a video about that too, to where they randomly put a number in there, 4-8. And then I had to break down. I went in there one night and spent like 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours, putting in random numbers and random letters to see exactly, how to break it down with the play action motion. And I found out in that spot, that first digit is your throwing motion, and that second digit is your play action. So if you had number 4 and you had 4-8, number 4 was Troy Aikman's throwing motion. Number 8 was that unique play action, to where if you go back to my video, to where you see RG3 bend over and tuck his ball on his side of his hip. Similar to what Boomer Esiason did back in the day and what Tom Brady does on occasion. And then it was around that time, a few days before that, I shared with them. I was like, yeah. I was like, I know how to change the kicking style. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, you know how Lou Groza and Jim Bakken, how they have their front old school style kicking? They're like, yeah. I said, you can change it. I said, how? I said, one night I was in Flying Finn's editor and I was looking for something else. And I saw one, I'm used to seeing zeros in that spot. I saw one flash up there. And I was like, huh? And I noticed it was Lou Groza. Then I said, let me check something else. I saw Jim Bakken and he had a 1 there. And all the other kickers had 0 and those two had number 1. I said, okay, let me take my generic kicker. I'm going to change this number to 1. I'm going to see what happens. Saved it, went back to the Xbox, bam. He got that old school kicking style. So yes, I discovered that kicking style. Okay? Now, of course, 2013 comes around. I moved to Pennsylvania. I'm still hexing more teams and whatnot. I'm streaming, starting to stream. I'm in CAG. So now I'm playing in CAG. I sucked into CAG. I was contributing to CAG, Casual Dog Games, beforehand, before I was actually a player in the league. San Antonio Corky would ask me to design, make teams and design certain players and make highlight videos for the guys who was in the league. So I would make those teams and do that for him and then send it off, send the roster to him, what have you. It was Dr. Silm and it was trying to hook me. I hooked up with him. He was trying to get me in there. Then TJ, which I always knew here and there, he knew about my work, so I talked to him. TJ Speaks. And so I joined CAG, and then around a week or two later, I joined the SFL, the Simulation Football League. I'm like, well, what the hell is this? I don't want to see, two computer guys playing against each other. That's boring. It's whack. I'd rather go play it myself. And so I did that for a little bit, and I was like, I'm not really feeling it. And I got off. That was around. Actually, let me back up. That was around 2014. Around this time, 3 years ago. And so, during this time, hexing teams. I worked for a college, and so in your college you get laid off. So for the whole summer, I'm collecting unemployment, and I'm just hexing teams left and right. Like hexing teams like once every day or two. So then, around in the 2014, a gentleman by the name of King Havo came on the scene, and he contacted me, and he saw he read all my notes on OperationSports.com. He read my notes on other various websites. He contacted me. He was talking about how he's going to try to find a way to where you can be able to change the generics names, their first and last names, and work online. I was like, yeah. I was kind of like saying, I didn't say to him, I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. It's been tried. We tried, and we had no success. I had no idea his programming knowledge. So then, throughout those months, toward the end of 2014, 2015, that's when him and I hooked together, and I was his tester, testing out the editor and this and that, and many nights, and then bam, the new version of the editor comes out. It's much more detailed, and then you're able to change the first and last names of the generics. As long as the names are in the game's database, you can now change the names of the guy of the generic player, and it'll work online. So instead of creating the RG3, instead of creating Robert Griffin, I can take a generic guy, change his name from John Doe to Robert Griffin, and then boom, it works online. And to this day, that's what I use. So most recent, if you look at my 1998 49ers or the 2007 Cowboys I created, you'll see like Romo, you'll see Marion Barber, you will see Julius Jones. those guys were really generics. Because what I do now is this: I take the 20 guys that I create are for guys whose names are not in a database. So the names are not in a database. I reserve those spots for the 20 created guys. Any any guy, any real player's name like Tony Romo, like Terrell Owens, like Marion Barber, if their names are in the game's database, all I do is reprogram the generics, and that's it, and it works. Change their stats, height, weight, skin color, equipment to reflect the real player, and bam, it works. And so, and that's the loophole. That was to me. It saved so much work. No longer do I need to go get a quarterback named Ray Montgomery and then change him to Will Montgomery. I can just take a generic guy and say, okay, your name is Will Montgomery. Boom, done. Saves me a ton of work. Flipping and flopping, going back and forth between the Xbox and the computer, the laptop. That saved me a lot of work, and that was a tremendous help. Um, I'm trying to think what else that I've left out here. It's crazy, man. It's just 10 years. It's good stuff. Of course, you dealt with the cheesers. You know, you got Sir Links. Um, Trying to think of the cheesers. That one guy who's the Buffalo Bills. I can't think of his name right now. I had to mention Benny No Name with the big 200 Big Mac chicken McNugget eating bastards he creates. 500-pound running backs. Marshawn Lynch. You know, instead of having a beast mode, they having Burger King mode or buffet mode. So, you know, yeah, it was part of the foolishness to deal with. A lot of cheating online. Because, of course, when you're hexing, you know, people who don't understand, who don't have they're not responsible enough to have ultimate power like me. And so they abuse it. And it's unfortunate. They can't create realistic teams or realistic players for that matter. But yeah, I mean, it's this all pro thing, man. I'll play this thing and I'll hex this thing another 10 years if I need to. The only reason all pro football, let me tell you, all pro football, like I said before, is the only reason why I started making videos and streaming games. All pro football 2K is the only reason why I still have an Xbox 360. All pro football 2K8 is the only reason why it was the reason why it made my Xbox One obsolete. I purchased an Xbox One back in March 2 years ago. I sold it in September. I barely played it. I used it more to watch SFL games when I owned the DC Dragons. That was the only reason why I even had an Xbox. I mean, that wasn't the only reason. I bought it because I got a white van special, you know. I don't know about in your neighborhood, but in the DC area, you have, you know, random white guys or white vans come up to you and say, hey, brother, you want to get this Xbox? Like, look, man, how much you got on you? Oh, I got like 200. So, brand spanking new, wrapped up, still had this brand new store smell. Of course, it's hot, but I don't give a damn. As long as that shit worked, that's all that matters. And so, that's how I got the Xbox One. But 2K8 made it obsolete because I only am hexing teams, but I'm also involved in SFL. And that leads me to go to the next thing about All Pro 2K is that SFL. You know, as people know, I was on the DC Dragons for 3 seasons. We didn't do too well the last 2 seasons, but the very first season, I want to give a shout out to NY Kia for setting up a great defense for the DC Dragons. I also want to give a shout out to DP Porter, Dominique Porter, for helping me out with getting the offense in tune. And we won the championship, our first go around. And we had the weakest team. We didn't have the best team. You know, I had a bronze quarterback. Everybody else having gold and silver, except for Ramos, who was a Santa Fe Gorillas owner, and he had a bronze quarterback. We were the only 2 in the league. We were the first 2 in the league. And lo and behold, we were in the championship game. The greatest SFL game in league history, I might add you, and not because we won. It was a great game back and forth. Realistic team builds, no 6'8" safety foolishness, just no swing passes all the damn time. It was just straight up battling. Okay, mano a mano, tit for tat. No one jumping ahead of each other. We're going back and forth. Several lead changes. It was like a boxing match, a classic boxing match between Marvelous Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard. It was a football clinic. So I encourage you to go on the SFL's website or their YouTube channel and watch that Season 5 championship game, which to this day is the most prestigious SFL title in all of the titles because how it was won and the fact that we didn't have the best team and we pulled it off. And that is irrefutable. And I will strike anyone else down who says otherwise. All right, now get back from my high horse for a little bit. But yes, right now I'm the league president of the SFL, and so it's we're still using the game. We're going to use this game as long as we can, and one thing about the SFL is we're going to get bigger and better. Anyhow, I rambled enough today. This video is going on 25 minutes or so. I don't want to get too many shout outs. I want to give a shout out to B.A. Boswick, DR Sim 80, Sitting Here Flossing, Showtime 718, World E 41968, Coach P 419, Sense Be Pimpin', Money on My Mind. I want to give a shout out to Starvinsky. I haven't played him in 5-6 years. If he's listening, Starvinsky, I didn't forget about you, brother. We give a shout out to Live Slayer. Give a shout out to TJ Speaks, T. Pat Nitty. I want to give a shout out to Spectacular Pooh. I want to give a shout out to past and present owners of the SFL. We're doing big things over there. It's going to get bigger. You'll see in the future. I can't speak on it, but just wait and see. I want to give a shout out to NY Kia. A lot of people hate on NY Kia because he's Mr. Madden. And we have a lot of anti-Madden people in the football community, for sim football community. But he has a lot of knowledge on football. He helped me win the championship our first season. I will always be grateful for that man, and he will never receive hate from me. Although I don't care for Madden, but I will never have hate towards him. Okay, I want to give a shout out to the Sim Standard. Give a shout out to Smitty, Azure Effect, the Sim Football Critic, Ryan Moody. There was Versus. There was Apex is real. Apex is free, I think. Apex is real. Give a shout out to I think it was Coach Ruckus. I think his name was. I want to give a shout out to San Antonio Corky. I want to give a shout out to Big Play Killer. I want to give a shout out to, oh man, this is so many names across the years. I want to give a shout out to Benny No Name for reminding me why I need to keep it 100 at all times when it comes to this game, because when I see that foolishness with that big overweight 82 and a half chicken nugget eating bastard football players that you create, that reminds me, yeah, I need to keep this thing 100 at all times. So yes, you get a special shout out today. Alrighty. Like I said, man, there's so many people. Dollar Jr. Give a shout out to Dollar Jr. Man, I don't want to forget anybody's names, man. So give a shout out to King Havo. He the one created the damn editor. The second version, the more up to complete. I want to give a shout out to Flying Finn. Haven't seen him in years. He showed up for a minute and rode out. Haven't heard from him. Oh, man. I'm trying to think. There's just so many people. I'm trying to think. And I should just pause this video and just write this stuff down. But y'all know me. I shoot from the hip. Give a shout out to Dominique Porter. B.A. Boswick. Yoke Road Runner. Okay. Give a shout out to, what's his name? I don't want to say his full name. I can't remember his screen name. His first name starts with a J, last name is Pim. Oh man, I can't remember his name right now. Don't give a shout out to him. He'll know what I'm talking about. Oh man, I apologize. I'm not prepared. This is what I do. But if I forgot about you, I got number love for y'all guys I play with. Past, present. Hopefully, new people I meet in the future, either through online game, through CAG or the SFL. You know, give a shout out to Cameron Irvine for having SFL, for allowing me to be not only the owner at one point, but to be president currently. Through the SFL, I am allowed to utilize All Pro Football 2K8, another avenue. Not just the hexing part of it, hexing on my end, but hexing for the league and maintaining a roster and maintaining rosters and contributing to the betterment of the league. And this may shock some people. I'm not a hater. I'm gonna give a shout out to the Internet Football League. Yes, there was some issues. I keeps it 100 between SFL and IFL. And yeah, I won't say it's totally clear, but they decided, you know what? They moved on. They created their own league. They're using All Pro Football 2K8. And I give a shout out to them because they're utilizing a great football game. Yes, and let me step off for a moment. Yes, this game is not perfect. So I'm not a 2K apologist. I'm not that jaded. The game has its flaws. The game is incomplete. As I'm about to make another video, or I'm about to redo the video, the game is incomplete. With the editor, we can fix those errors that 2K neglected to do. You go inside the game and you realize, man, this stuff ain't right. However, we have the power. And that was the whole point of doing all this, was to gain the power. This game is incomplete. It feels incomplete, but it's greatness. It's like having a child, and your child can be a genius, and you see his or her potential, but he doesn't see the potential, and he just needs a little push, something to gets motivating, because he doesn't see it, but you do. And so it's like, okay, well, let's give him the knowledge, give him something to where he can go to the next level. And it's the same thing I look at with 2K8. 2K8's like that. We made this game better. Wasn't just me. Yes, I studied and I went into the numbers when no one was doing it. And then Havo, because he has the skills of a programmer. I don't have the skills of a programmer. I've just been a person that's been great with numbers. I've been that way since I was a kid. I can look at patterns, look at numbers, and see a picture as if I was one of those guys in the Matrix movies. When they see all the green little letters and lines go up and down the screen and whatnot, and they see pictures and images, that's how I was with that editor, with the Hex Workshop. I was seeing pictures and I was guessing that part. I was like, okay, that right there has got to be kicking thing. That right there has got to be what the years of the player means. That right there has got to be this. Yes, Operation Sports said some stuff and guide you for the most part, but then I just started discovering stuff and just seeing things on my own. And that's what it's all about. And so, yes, I give a shout out to the IFL because they're utilizing, to me, the greatest football simulation that's out there. I can't take a shot at Madden, respectfully, because I haven't thoroughly played Madden since, I think, 16, the one after the Barry Sanders on the cover, the one after that one. And it's just not my cup of tea, but I'm not going to diss Madden at all. But I'm just going to end it like this, and then I'm done talking. I'll finish the shout-outs. If I forgot about you, please take no offense. It's just Mighty RX. There's another one. You on the PS3 end. He helped me learn how to do the hexing with the, I forgot what that, what you call it, brute force. Helped me use that device. I had to learn a different way of hexing for the PS3 because for Season 6, I had to hex for hex XFL rosters for not only Xbox, but for also PS3. And I'm going to give another shout out to Havo. This is how good he is. He's able to hex, make an editor for the PlayStation 3, and he doesn't even have I'm sorry, the PlayStation 3, and he doesn't even have a PlayStation 3 in his house. I had one, thanks to TJ and his generous donation. I had one, and he's like, look, man, I need to test something out for me. And I think we went through once or twice, and the stuff works. It's like, man, how can you program something for a machine you don't have? You're just a genius. And if you're Havo, you listen to this, we got more work for you coming, bro. Let you know, we got some money and we got some more work for you. I'm just saying, just telling you what's up. So, this is a Dark Lord Destro. I rambled so long, I'm out. Like I said, we're going to play this game another 10 years. As long as they keep the servers up, as long as Xbox 360 is still up and running, and we're allowed to do the peer-to-peer thing, we're going to play this bitch for another 10 years. I'm out. Peace.